All right, there's a lot I want to cover in this video because I didn't initially get to cover the Supreme Court ruling. So before the weekend, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously 9-0 that Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador, the slave labor camp, and they said he needs to come back. They're like, this guy needs to come back. You need to facilitate his return. Keep that word facilitate in the back of your head because that is the point of contention here. I want to cover what his gang ties are, what the evidence is they have against them. Spoiler alert, it's not much, but I'll show you regardless. And then, despite all this, we have deported 10 more alleged gang members to CECOT in El Salvador. And Trump is also to meet Bukele, the president of El Salvador, here soon. So, let's jump into it. From Politico, Trump administration contends it has no duty to return illegally deported man to the U.S. The Trump administration insisted Sunday that it has no legal obligation to arrange for the return of a Maryland man illegally deported from the United States, arguing that a Supreme Court ruling last week only requires officials to admit him into the country if he makes it back from a high-security prison in El Salvador. Guys, the people being sent to this prison, it's indefinite. Like, once you're sent there, you're not coming back. You're never coming out. And all this is being done without any due process or any trial or anything. And as a result, you're having cases like this. You're having dozens of cases now of people that were sent there who have no criminal record in the U.S., no criminal record from their home country. And a study came out that I think it was like 70% of the people sent there have no criminal record. Like, what are we doing? Okay? And I don't want to hear this straw manning anymore of saying, oh, the left is defending criminal gang members and terrorist Tren de Aragua and MS-13. No, you idiot. I'm trying to defend our Constitution and due process. Okay? If you want to deport someone back to their home country, that's one thing. But if you want to deport someone to a slave labor camp on an indefinite sentence, meaning that they're probably never going to come out because there was no charge, there was no trial, there was no due process, you damn well better believe I'm going to fight for every single one of those people's rights to have a trial and a due process, whether they're a legal immigrant, an illegal immigrant, or a U.S. citizen, a green card holder. I don't care. If you are sending someone to a prison, a foreign one, that is littered with human rights violations, those people better have a damn trial, especially when we have so many cases coming out of people with no gang ties whatsoever or criminal records whatsoever being sent there. And when pushed for evidence by reporters, by judges, the government just says, trust us, bro. Or they freaking pull out the state secrets privilege. Like, if they can do it to any of these people, they can do it to you. They can do it to U.S. citizens. Trump's already openly said he's considering sending U.S. citizens there. But it doesn't matter if there's no due process because they can say, hey, you're Tren de Aragua. You're going. And you don't get to defend yourself. No, there's none of that. Like, get that through your head. On principle, I'm against sending anyone to a slave labor camp just from, that's kind of illegal. And in our Constitution, that is cruel and unusual punishment. Like, we aren't barbarians here. But if I have no choice and we're going to send people there anyways, you better damn believe you're sending the right people. Which, by all indications, it looks like they are not. Justice Department lawyers told a federal judge that they don't interpret the Supreme Court's Thursday ruling that the administration facilitate Kilmar Abrego Garcia's release as obligating the administration to do anything more than address his immigration status to admit him if El Salvador's government chooses to release him. I think I already read that, but oh my goodness, if El Salvador's government chooses to release him. Again, this is indefinite detention. With El Salvador's president Nayib Bukele set to meet Donald Trump on Monday, DOJ attorneys argued the courts have no power to require the administration to engage with the Salvadorian government to reach a diplomatic solution. They contend such a potential order would amount to a violation of the separation of powers and an intrusion into what the allege is unfettered presidential power to conduct foreign relations. I hate these people, man. This is crazy. All of those requested orders involve interactions with a foreign sovereign and potential violations of that sovereignty. Justice Department attorneys wrote in a 7-page submission. What the fuck are you talking about? You want to pull the sovereignty card now when we're threatening to invade Greenland, Panama Canal, Canada, Gaza? Like, what are you talking about? Oh my God, these people are shameless in their lies. The administration's position suggests officials do not view the Supreme Court's order as compelling them to seek Abrego Garcia's return. The Salvadorian native entered the country illegally around 2011 and had been living in Maryland. Trump administration has admitted it deported him to El Salvador in violation of a 2019 immigration court, barring his deportation to that country. Though Abrego Garcia was denied asylum, a judge found he could not be sent to his home country because of a legitimate fear of persecution by a local gang. And I swear to God, if someone says he entered here illegally, man, screw him. Bro, coming here illegally isn't even like a criminal offense. It is a civil offense. It's a misdemeanor. That does not warrant being sent indefinitely for probably the rest of your life to a slave labor camp until you literally die. Think about what you're arguing for. The administration is also bucking demands from Abrego Garcia's attorneys that officials detail the arrangement to ship hundreds of foreign nationals to a notorious prison in El Salvador. One of the Sunday's filings insists those details are classified and could be subject to attorney-client and state secrets privileges. As I mentioned earlier, it would be inappropriate for this court to hastily order production of these sensitive documents, Justice Department lawyer Drew Ensign wrote. So let's look at the gang ties real quick. There's no publicly available, independently verified evidence confirming that Kilmar Abrego Garcia has ties to any gang, while U.S. immigration authorities have alleged that he is affiliated with MS-13. These claims have not been substantiated in court. In fact, a 2019 immigration judge granted him withholding of removal status, recognizing that he would likely face harm if returned to El Salvador due to threats from gangs like Barrio 18, not because of any gang affiliation on his part. Abrego Garcia has consistently denied any gang involvement, and no criminal charges have been filed against him in the U.S. or El Salvador. Despite this, he was mistakenly deported to El Salvador in March 2025 and imprisoned in a high-security facility, slave labor camp. U.S. courts have signed his order of return, criticizing the government's actions as lacking due process and legal justification. In summary, allegations of gang ties against Abrego Garcia remain unproven and have been legally challenged, with courts finding insufficient evidence to support such claims. One claim was like by some like confidential informant who said he was like involved with some gang in New York when he's never even lived or been to New York. And that was it. And that was all reviewed by a judge in 2019. And they're like, what are we doing here? There's no evidence. You have no evidence. Like, come back when you have evidence. And guess what? They still don't have evidence. This dude has since, been married to his wife. He has a couple of kids. I think one is actually autistic and was with that kid when he was detained and arrested. So, for the love of God, use your brain. Think about what you're supporting here. This is not the values this country stands for. Illegal immigrant, legal immigrant, U.S. citizen, etc. Like, this is not our values. Wake up. U.S. supports 10 more alleged gang members to El Salvador, says Rubio. The U.S. has deported another 10 people that it alleges are gang members to El Salvador. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Sunday, a day before that country's president is due to visit the White House. Last night, another 10 criminals from MS-13 and Tren de Aragua, foreign terrorist organizations, arrived in El Salvador. The alliance between Donald Trump and El Salvador President Nayib Bukele has become an example for security and prosperity in our hemisphere. Rubio added, the U.S. president is due to meet Bukele at the White House on Monday. Trump said on Saturday he was looking forward to meeting Bukele and praised him for taking enemy aliens from the United States. said the two countries were working closely to eradicate terrorist organizations. Yeah, and then just the headline, these other ones mentioned it. Trump to meet Bukele as U.S. deports more immigrants to El Salvador. And that is supposed to be Monday, which is today. So if there's any important details that comes out of that today, I will cover it tomorrow. Yeah, MAGA, look at what you're fighting for, okay? Like, if you want to send people to a foreign prison camp, slave labor camp, as I like to refer to it, some like to say it's a concentration or extermination camp, but anyways, if you want to send people there that are gang members, okay, that's one thing. But for the love of God, allow them due process in court and have this, play out so we make sure we're sending the right people here. That's all I'm asking. That means that if these people are actually gang members, terrorists, Tren de Aragua, MS-13, whatever, then, all right, send them away, I suppose, if that's what you want. But make sure you have the right people. And right now, there is like a lot more evidence that says they don't have the right people than evidence that says they do have the right people. At least 70%, no criminal record. Wake up, man. Like, we're not making this up. We're not making these cases up, okay? We're not. Like, I am trying to defend every single person's right to due process. That's all. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.